Welcome to this explainer on unlocking the true magic of Anna Maria Island. You know, the real adventure actually begins right where that famous white quartz sand ends. If you've ever stood on the beautiful beaches of Florida's Gulf Coast, just staring out at those vivid emerald waters and wondering what else is out there, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the incredible coastal ecosystem that surrounds this barrier island, and we'll learn exactly why experiencing it from the deck of a private boat completely changes the game.
Today, we're mapping out your ultimate float plan. We'll be covering beyond the white sand, private rentals versus tours, choosing your vessel, top marine destinations, and finally, navigating safely. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. Beyond the white sand, discovering the Gulf. Let's explore why viewing this coastal landscape from the shoreline really only gives you half the experience. Here's the core truth about Anna Maria Island. Yes, the 7 miles of pristine white quartz sand and charming coastal towns draw massive crowds year-round. But the real secret? It's out in the coastal waterways. Hidden out there are secluded sandbars, deep channels, and dense mangrove forests that are literally completely inaccessible by car or foot. When Tampa Bay, Sarasota Bay, and the Gulf of Mexico converge, they create this uniquely diverse marine ecosystem. Honestly, if you stay landbound, you're missing out on the absolute best of what this region has to offer.
Section 2. Private rentals versus tours. Taking the helm. Let's see how stepping onto a private vessel completely transforms your standard beach trip.
Think about your options when you're planning a vacation day. On one hand, you have commercial tours. You know the drill. Rigid schedules, sharing a deck with a bunch of strangers, and buying individual tickets for every single person. On the other hand, private boat rentals give you complete control. You want to stop for a spontaneous swim? Do it. Ready for some waterfront dining? Just pull right up. Plus, taking the helm yourself actually ends up being a highly cost-effective value for families and groups. You totally bypass the stress of strict timetables and gain a highly personalized experience.
Which brings us to Section 3, choosing your vessel, the right tools. The crucial point here is matching your group size and energy to the correct hull.
You generally have two main choices at the marina. First up, pontoon boats. These are the undisputed champions for family trips. Their wide, flat decks provide exceptional stability, meaning Grandpa won't spill his drink, and the large bimini tops give you that essential shade from the intense afternoon sun. Alternatively, you've got center console boats. These feature a V-hull design that's engineered to slice right through ocean chop. Packed with rod holders and live wells, these are definitely the go-to for anglers looking to travel greater distances across the deeper bays. Now, keep in mind, securing these premium rentals often comes with a few strict rules, most notably a minimum driver age of 30. While that might seem a bit strict at first glance, this guideline is actually a massive benefit. It guarantees a safe, responsible, and relaxing environment for everyone out on the water.
Moving on to Section 4, Top Marine Destinations. Plotting the course. Now that you're at the helm, let's look at how this all builds into an incredible daily itinerary.
So, where should you actually drop anchor? Well, the waters surrounding Anna Maria Island aren't just one monotonous stretch of ocean. They offer a massive variety of distinct marine habitats, right at your fingertips.
I absolutely love this piece of advice. Spend an hour watching a pod of bottlenose dolphins play, or drop anchor at a shallow sandbar. Having a private vessel allows you to curate an unforgettable day. Because the Gulf Coast waters are notoriously calm in the morning, you can really enjoy the ride, even with moderate boating experience. You can literally spend an hour just watching marine wildlife in your wake, or instantly transition into a quiet afternoon picnic, totally away from the crowds.
Let's look at how a perfect day might actually unfold. At 9 a.m., you cruise up to Egmont State Park, which, by the way, is accessible only by water, and you snorkel 19th century ruins that act as a vibrant artificial reef. By noon, depending on the tide, you're at Passage Key, wading in crystalline water for sand dollars. Finally, at 3 p.m., you transition over to the calmer intracoastal side at Jewfish Key. It's heavily sheltered by mangroves, making it the absolute perfect spot to see stingrays, hermit crabs, and snook darting right through the seagrass.
And that brings us to Section 5, Navigating Safely, the reality check. Operating a vessel here requires situational awareness and a basic understanding of coastal Florida topography.
First, let's cover the legal reality. If you were born on or after January 1, 1988, you legally must possess a valid Florida Boating Safety Education Identification Card to operate any motorized vessel with 10 horsepower or greater. It's a non-negotiable state law.
But don't worry, out-of-state visitors can easily grab a temporary certificate online before their trip even begins.
Once you're on the water, you've really got to read the environment. Tidal fluctuations constantly shift things around, exposing sharp oyster beds and creating temporary sandbars. The golden rule here? Stay between the red and green channel markers. If you do venture outside them, your depth finder is your absolute best friend. Keep a close eye on it so you can spot shallow seagrass beds before you run aground and ruin both your propeller and your pride.
Next up is preparation. Florida weather is notoriously unpredictable, and summer afternoons frequently bring sudden thunderstorms, so you should always bring these essentials. Polarized sunglasses so you can actually spot shallow water through the glare. Reef-safe sunscreen to protect both your skin and the local ecosystem. A fully charged cellular device for real-time radar updates, and plenty of drinking water to stave off dehydration under that intense sun.
Of course, environmental stewardship is just as vital as your personal safety. Manatees, sometimes affectionately called sea cows, are native here and frequent the shallower bays around the island. They are notoriously slow-moving, so as boaters, you absolutely must respect all posted idle speed zones. This gives you the reaction time necessary to protect these gentle giants from devastating propeller strikes.
Now, you might be wondering about packing all the right safety equipment. Well, the good news is that reputable local rentals come fully equipped with every piece of United States Coast Guard required gear. Properly sized life jackets for all passengers, fire extinguishers, flares, sound devices, and an anchor with sufficient line. It's all completely handled for you.
To ensure you leave the dock with total confidence, just follow a really simple arrival routine. Step 1, arrive 30 minutes early. Step 2, use that time to knock out the paperwork and load your gear onto the deck. And Step 3, get your local navigation briefing from the dock staff. You'll know exactly what you're doing before you even turn the key.
And this brings us to a powerful final thought. Are you ready to leave the shoreline behind and captain your own Gulf Coast adventure? With the unmatched freedom of a private vessel, the ability to escape the crowds, and the knowledge to navigate these stunning coastal waters safely, the only question left is when you will finally step off the sand to curate your own unforgettable maritime adventure. Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.